Yo, what up, YouTube? Here we are once again, live on the Jake the Asshole channel. Everybody smash the thumbs up. Whoa, shit. Live on the Jake the Asshole channel. Everybody smash the thumbs up. Whoa, shit. Live on. All right, looks like my watch page is coming in loud and clear. Got all my rowdy people showing up out there. Who do we have in the chat? We have Andy, PJC Net, we have Inhuman Ways, we got Rose Bellman, we got Julian Dumont, Jess Palmer, Fusion Density, PJC Net, getting us started as usual. First super chat of the day. What do you got to say, PJ? He says, get you started. There's masses of lies like Greenland and the Arctic to push their climate agenda, including the continued demonization of CO2. Yes, of course. And it's our fault, right? Driving all these gas-powered cars. You know, if us people would just go buy their electric cars the way they want us to, then everything will start turning around, right? If we just stop eating cows, start eating bugs, we can start reverse all this global warming and everything's going to be a-okay, right? Just eat a handful of cockroaches, go buy a Tesla, and you will indeed help reverse all of the changes happening to the climate, right? Gotta love it. See, what's funny is you can go back and find articles from like the 50s and 60s and 70s where they're like, the next ice age is coming. It's like, oh, no. Now we've learned it's definitely heating up, man. So that's what we're going to get into today. We've all heard about, the polar ice caps melting. But a new one that I hadn't heard so much about before was now Greenland. Greenland is melting. And you know it has to be true because I saw it on TV. And if I saw it on TV, that means you know it has to be true, right? Because that's how we do it around here. Sure. So we're going to go ahead and get into that. I'm going to let folks go ahead and build up here for a minute. But I will tell you this. It seems they really want you to stay home. They really want you to be glued into the television and your devices. They don't want you going anywhere, and they are actively, and when I say they, I mean the evil elites who set this world up and rigged this game as it is. They are actively trying to make sure, they're actively taking steps, I should say, to make sure that you stay home, that you don't travel, that you don't go anywhere, and they're making travel such an inconvenience and such a hassle that people such as myself just don't even want to deal with that bullshit. And it's all by design. But we're going to get into that. All right. So I see more people showing up. PK, OSB, Blair, Dragonfire says, what up, Jake? Oh, yeah. Every once in a while, we still do this. What up? Every once in a while, we still do that. Remember when people used to do that? Every once in a while, we still do that just so the tradition stays alive, right? And because it makes people laugh every time. Every time. That's right. It's my own patented physical comedy. That's right. If you see other imitators stealing my jokes, you let me know. All right. All right, we're about to get started, y'all. You guys ready? So, like I said, the theme for this whole video is that the world is melting, right? You are in danger. You need to stay home. You need to stop traveling. You need to make sure that you're doing your part to reverse global warming, right? That's the whole theme of today's stream. So let's go ahead and dive into this. And remember, this is a comedy performance. Anything and everything you see here and hear here is designed for entertainment purposes so that you can enjoy your life before the whole shit show goes to shit, hell, and back. All right, let's roll them. You guys ready? Let's do this. All right. So I saw this on the All Seeing Eye Network. They call it CBS, the All Seeing Eye Network. So you know it has to be true if it comes from these guys, right? These guys are good investigative journalists, right? They would never lie to you. All right, let's see what they have to say about Greenland melting.
A new study finds that the Greenland ice sheet is set to lose 3.3% of its mass. That's equal to 110 trillion tons of ice. The findings in the journal Nature Climate Change say this will trigger nearly a foot of global sea level rise. The study did not specify when this will happen, but researchers predict much of it can play out between now and the year 2100. For more on
All right, so you guys see right out of the gate, what's their favorite number? What's their favorite number? Everyone knows their favorite number. Rusty James knows it's 33. Bob CZZ says 33, LOL. That's right. They got to get it in there right away. Right away. This just in, Greenland is melting 33. Greenland, 33 feet. Oh, 3.3, whatever. 33. Right? They got to shove that right down your throat right out of the gate. So that's definitely how you know that this news report has tons of validity. There's tons of science involved when they have to repeatedly use the same number over and over and over and over and over and over and over again ad nauseum, right? They got to shove this number into our assholes immediately because science never lies, bro. Science can't lie. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this science, which of course comes up with these numbers, right? PJ sees it too. Yep, they got to get that in right away. All right, so right out of the gate, that didn't take long. First minute, they shoved that down your throat. But let's continue. We can't base the whole thing off just that number. Maybe it's just a coinkydink, right? It's all a big coincidence. We can't just base the whole investigation on that. Let's continue. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt here that Greenland is indeed melting. Yeah.
on this, I want to bring in Ted Scambos. He's a senior research scientist at the University of Colorado in Boulder. Ted, let's kind of try to bring these numbers down into sort of more manageable form. We've known that the ice sheet has been melting. Is this a case of it's melting even faster than we thought?
No, this is more a case of recognizing just how much we're committed to, even with climate staying right where it is. What the study did was take the last 20 years where we have really good data, both from satellites and from weather systems, weather instruments, and looked at how Greenland has lost ice from year to year, given warmer years and cooler years. If the next 20 years are an example of what climate in Greenland is going to be like over the next few centuries, then we're in for an ice sheet that's going to shrink to the extent of about a foot of sea level rise.
And what does that mean? What would that cause? What would happen?
Yeah, it has more impact the further south you go because of the way the water gets distributed over the surface of the ocean. It's not just like filling up a bathtub. There's places that fare worse than others. And in fact, the southern coasts of, the United States, around Asia, the tropical belt, those areas see a little bit more sea level rise as time goes forward. What it means is that we're going to see additional sea level rise over and above what we're seeing year to year now as Greenland adjusts to the new climate. And that's assuming that climate
Okay, so he's saying by 2050. And so my thing is like, can I see your study? Can I hear some details of how this whole thing went down with this study? Like, can you be a little more forthcoming with how this study works? You know, it just seems like they use the word study, and then they show a picture of some ice, and then they'll give you a year, and they'll be like, yeah, definitely a foot of sea level rise by the year 2050. Now, here's the thing. What happens by 2050 if this guy's wrong? Like, how many people are going to remember this report? How many people are going to remember this report and go back and be like, hey, dude, you were totally wrong. Remember back in 2022? Yeah, dude, like all those years ago, you were totally wrong. The ocean didn't go up, right? See, so it's like, how can you hold these people accountable if they're wrong? You know what I mean? It's like, the science can't be wrong. The science is never wrong, Jake. If they say that there's a study, then really smart people who went to college for a long time and are really smart, they already figured everything out already, okay? No need to ask questions. Yeah. So by the year 2050, they're saying Greenland is going to be melted so much that it's going to cause a foot of ocean rise. That's quite a statement. Quite a statement. But they have all these years to backtrack and change their story. By 2050, they can say that another ice age is coming. The sheeple will believe anything. So by 2050, you can totally reverse your story. But at the same time, I also believe that with weather manipulation and the technology today, they probably could melt some ice on Greenland and convince people that the ocean is rising. Even if the ocean doesn't actually rise, you could just tell the sheep at home that the ocean has risen a foot, and they'll be like, I know, I was just at the ocean yesterday and it looked like it was about a foot higher. Yeah, they won't know. They won't check. They won't look at old black and white pictures from the 40s and 50s and be like, holy shit, no, it's in the same spot. Yeah. Moving on.
Doesn't get any warmer, which almost everybody assures that it will.
And let's focus on that for a moment. What causes the sea level rise, and what's your assessment of whether that will get worse or better?
So Greenland is a large mass of ice. It was formed back when the Earth was a lot cooler. It's been through some ups and downs over the past several thousand years, but now we've begun to really push on this warming trend, and it's through greenhouse gases that have been added to the atmosphere. The perimeter of the ice sheet is melting more than it used to. You can see a large band of blue ice, that's deep, high-pressure ice, that's beginning to erode or melt away off the sides of the continent. And the glaciers are all, especially in southern Greenland.
Look, guys, they got pictures of ice. So it has to be true. I mean, look at all that ice and it's melting, because look at that picture. How could the picture be lying? I mean, clearly there's ice in the picture. The guy said there's a study, so therefore it must be happening. So by the year 2050, all that ice is going to be gone, man. Isn't that sad? You know, the only thing they need to do now, is show like a polar bear with a sad face on like one of the ice chunks. Don't you love that part when they put like a penguin or a polar bear out on one of those ice chunks and they're like, my home is melting. I'm a Greenland polar. Does Greenland have polar bears? I don't know. So the only thing missing is the polar bear attached to the ice chunk as it slowly melts. Like, my home. You need to drive a Tesla so that my home doesn't melt. Right? You'll love it. Oh, good times. Andy has a laughing face emoji. She's enjoying herself. Gord K with a laughing face emoji. Loretti 29 with a L-O-O-O-O-O-O-O-L. Excuse me, O-L. Right? You guys know what I'm talking about. It's funny. I didn't even mean to click this comment, but since I did, I'll read it and hope it's good. St. Anne's Beach, UK kids' puddle pools have less water in them than when I was 8. LOL. If anything, it's decreasing. And sure, line is basically the same. Oh, yeah, good point. I've covered in other streams how Lake Mead is being drained, basically, and a lot of lakes out in the west are definitely being drained. Reservoirs as well, I should say. Lakes, reservoirs, and rivers, all with a decreasing amount of fresh water flowing. And of course, I believe that's by design, and I've covered that in some streams in the past. But we'll go ahead and stick to this subject for now before we trail off too far, and we'll finish up this video. And back to it.
And flowing faster than they used to. And so we're seeing both faster flow and runoff in the form of water contributing to sea level rise. That's sort of going to play out for the next several centuries, a lot of it this century, and that's what the study is pointing out.
And so is that what the time frame we're talking about here is over several centuries, or is that the right time frame we should be thinking about if anybody hears about this and is alarmed and wants to take action?
Yeah, so the ice sheet is finding itself in a climate, an environment that it's not stable with. It has to shrink somewhat in order to have a stable size that remains constant from decade to decade. Right now, there's parts of it that are sticking out at low elevation and further south that need to melt away. So a lot of this is going to happen in this century, but it's going to play out over a very long time. Now, the thing the study didn't mention is that climate, as I said before, is almost certainly going to get warmer. So we're going to keep stepping on this.
I love that last statement. He said it's almost certainly going to get warmer. You know, almost certainly going to get warmer. And then they keep showing these stock footage pictures of ice, right? And then they have a timeline of like 2050. And then they can always move the goalpost back. You know how easy it is to move the goalpost back with this shit? Oh, yeah, we were off by like 6.66% of a margin. So it looks like 2100. Yeah, so your kids will have to deal with it, or your kids' kids or something. But you don't have to worry because you're going to be dead. So, and this guy's going to be dead by then. So nobody can call this guy out for being wrong. So it's like by 2050, I just thought about, by 2050, that dude right there, because he's already old, by 2050, I'll bet you that dude's dead. So no one can even call him out and be like, you were wrong, Mr. Science Pants, with your study. You were totally wrong. Remember when you said Greenland was going to melt and then it didn't? Right? But instead, he'll be dead by then. Lucky. Yeah. All right. FX Ghost says HARP is melting the ice sheets. They can do some evil things, manipulating the weather for sure. But I'm not going to go as far as to make statements like HARP is melting Greenland or anything. Like, I don't even believe that Greenland is really melting like they say. Like, what is the evidence? That guy says there's a study. That guy's making a prediction on television, and they're showing some stock footage of ice. Okay. Like I said, who's going to like call this guy out on 2050? Be like, Greenland's still there. In fact, it has even more ice than before, right? He'll be on his deathbed by then or already dead, right? Of natural causes, or maybe getting the Jabberooski. Okay, let's go ahead and just finish this up. There's only a minute left, so we'll finish it up and see if there's anything left that might sway my opinion, right?
Accelerator pedal for ice loss and sea level rise through this century. And you can say it's impossible to stop it. the way to stop it would be to go to a climate that's actually a little cooler than it is today. And that's very far in the future with a whole lot of work for the human race before we get there.
And even if it gets cooler, if the climate gets cooler, that just slows the rate of loss, right? There's not a chance that there's going to be any accumulation of ice.
That's correct. It would take a very long time before the ice sheet were to regrow, geologic spans of time. It's basically up to us to start tapping on the brakes and get this under control. And I have to say, I'm pleased with some of the things that have been passed by Congress recently. I think we've taken some big steps in the right direction.
All right, Ted Scambos, thanks so much for helping us understand this.
Yeah, passed by Congress. See, guys, what I think they want to do, and it's pretty obvious if you just look at what they're showing us here, and they want to limit you traveling. They want to limit you going anywhere, right? They mainly want you at home in front of one of your devices, mainly the television or a computer or a phone or whatever. They mainly don't want you to be able to travel around freely on your own. So they have lots of ways to restrict your travel. And we know that the boogeyman disease was one of them. But this is another one that they're really going to push is as climate change. So because of climate change, you shouldn't be taking trips on planes. You should stay home, right? Because of you want to help reverse global warming, you shouldn't get on an airplane and go on a vacation, right? You should just stay home and watch videos of other people going on vacation. Right? So what it always comes down to is like they don't want you or any of us to figure out that this place isn't what they told us it is. So the more they can restrict our movement, the easier they can keep that secret locked up forever. So of course, as we know here, right, we're the minority in all this. We know that the earth is not a ball, as we've been told. And so they want to restrict our travel so that there's never any sort of revolution to prove to people that the globe doesn't exist, right? So if they can limit your travel, you're never really going to know how much land, real estate there really is. You're never going to know if there's a secret piece of land out there, right? They're going to make it as hard as possible on the common man to go out exploring like a modern day, I don't want to say Christopher Columbus, but a modern day explorer, because we know that guy's a fraud too. Anyway, so I look at this as a way to ultimately restrict travel so they can even more ultimately keep people from figuring out that they don't live on a spinning ball, right? Keep you in the matrix. They want to shove you closer and closer into a virtual reality where you don't even want to participate in regular reality, right? And these are small steps that they take, one step at a time, until they ultimately achieve their evil goal. All right. So, what do you guys think of that? Huh? What do you guys think of what we just saw here? Let's discuss. Rogue Mandrill says, if Greenland melts, then elves will sprout and kill us all. Who knows, man? Anything could happen, man. Once that ice melts, who knows what they might find, man. PJ Net says, complete lies. Sea ice is gaining at the moment, and it's been a lot lower in history. Yeah, I couldn't tell you for sure if it's gaining or if it's not. But my thing is like if Earth isn't a ball, and let's say the ocean goes on farther than we're told, and there's more land, more resources, right? Then a lot of this shit goes out the window, right? And so the shape of the earth always does tie back into this shit in one way or another. Like what this place is, figuring out exactly what this place is, how much real estate there really is, right? So they use all this nonsense on TV to brainwash people and make it a complete inconvenience to travel. Not only that, they'll put restrictions on you. And another way they can restrict your travel, of course, and they showed how they can flex that muscle at any time. It's through the jab, right? The Jabberooski. This is just for demonstration purposes. This is a spore syringe. It's not used for anything illegal. So this is just a prop for demonstration purposes only. So we know that they can limit our travel by saying, oh, you're not allowed to travel to this country unless you can show proof that you've had the Jabberooski. All right. And we know in the future, they can easily come up with a new boogeyman disease or change the name of an existing boogeyman disease and increase the amount of restrictions. And like I said, it comes back to restricting our travel, how often you travel, where you can travel, how long you can stay, right? Oh, you want to go take a nice vacation? Well, have you been boosted like a rooster, like 6 times? Oh, only 5 times? Why don't you go get that 6th time and then we'll let you go. We're not far from it, folks. Not far. All right. Rose says, right, it stopped my travel. Hey, we aren't far removed from 2020. We aren't far removed, and it looks like they're gearing up for another run, and it wouldn't shock me if this winter they try and pull that scam once again. Wouldn't shock me if this winter, because during the winter time, everybody, and I want to say the winter in the northern hemisphere flat. So it's not winter for everybody, but the winter, let's say for the northern hemisphere flat, where the majority of the people are, I want to predict and get it out there ahead of time that I think that that's when we're going to see them really go extremely hard with their psychological operations, including more variants of the boogeyman disease. So I actually have some evidence to why I think this. And these are all just my opinions, and this is a comedy show. It's all just a big joke. These are my opinions, which I like to turn into jokes because it's a comedy show. So we'll go ahead and continue with the comedy show. Where is it? Here we go.
A new Pfizer COVID vaccine is rolling off the assembly line in Kalamazoo.
The first thing My grandma never mentioned this, but her first job was working at a Five and Dime when she was only 16.
You notice is that the tops of the vials aren't purple.
You notice the color change.
A new color because there is a new target, the Omicron BA4 and BA5 variants. But it still needs FDA authorization, which could come as early as this week.
We have doses ready virtually immediately. So within 24 hours, trucks will leave the facility.
So that could be people this weekend getting shots, potentially.
We are ready to go whenever the approval comes down.
Pfizer's chief global supply officer gave NBC News an exclusive tour of the company's massive production facility.
First thing we want to do is make sure that every element of that vial is to perfection.
Back in June, the FDA asked both Pfizer and Moderna to develop shots targeting BA5, which makes up most of the cases in the U.S.
Well, it's certainly hoped that these new updated vaccines will provide improved protection against serious disease serious enough to require hospitalization.
But because the process was so fast, human trials have not been completed.
Will you run human trials on this one?
Human trials for sure actually are just begun. So absolutely, they're underway.
Health officials point out the annual flu vaccine is not tested on humans. But COVID mutates faster than the flu.
It feels a little bit like whack-a-mole with this virus. How difficult is it to keep pace with how quickly the virus is changing?
And it's a very special disease. We launched the original product in 9 months, and now we're actually converting from variants in 100 days or less.
She said it's kind of like whack-a-mole with this disease. Whack-a-mole? Are you talking about that game from like Chuck E. Cheese? Yeah, it's kind of like whack-a-mole. You know, they're trying to like, you know, jabberoo everyone you know, basically poison everyone you know, right? And it's the same thing as whack-a-mole at Chuck E. Cheese, man. You know, like when you take a pad and you try and hit a robotic pop-up fucking gopher at Chuck E. Cheese. It's the same thing as that, right? It's like whack-a-mole. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, we just have to keep coming up with new concoctions and just keep jabbing people until something works, man. I mean, we're just going to keep rolling out the concoctions and we're just going to keep giving them to people and you're expected to take them, all right? And hopefully one of them works. Hey, how come like the people who've taken like all of them and all the roosters, how come they come out positive for the boogeyman disease? Because they haven't taken enough of these concoctions. Eventually we're going to get it right. So maybe after like the 66th try, maybe after the 33rd try, we just might get it right. Who knows? Right? That's how you cure shit. You just keep mixing chemical concoctions together, throwing it at the public. Of course. And I'm not giving anyone any advice whatsoever. I'm just a comedian. So, you know, don't get confused with me giving you any advice. I'm not here to give you any sort of medical advice. Okay? All right. All right. You guys having fun? It's evil shit, but we got to make fun of it, right? We have to have our fun. It's an evil world that we live in, right? Greenland's melting. And, you know, the boogeyman just won't go away. So you got to keep coming up with chemical concoctions, right? What you need to do is you need to get pumped up. What would Arnold do in this situation? I think you need to get pumped up with the chemical concoction as many times as possible. Do you know that the science is never wrong? And the scientists, they do the studies, and they do the studies and the studies, and they look at the data and the numbers and the study with the studio, then they study the data, and then they look at the chemical, and then they do the research in the microscope, and they come up with the chemical concoction, and you cannot argue against the science. I get as many as I possibly can all the time. You need to get pumped up with the chemical concoction. All right, Arnold. And screw your freedom. If you don't get pumped up with the chemical concoction, then you don't deserve to have any freedom. All right. We Free TV says, laugh my ass off. You're killing me, Arnold. All right. Connor with a laugh my ass off. Amandy Joe with some laughing emojis. PKOSB. All right. Always somebody wants to start bringing up other lines. Get to the chopper. It's not called the helicopter. They call it the chopper for short, so you can save time in the situation when the bad guys are trying to shoot you. You don't want to be like, hey, you need to come to the helicopter, and then the bad guy have an extra chance to shoot you. And so you say, get to the chopper to save the time, and so that you can set it there and you can grab the chopper with it to fly away. All right. Sorry, I went off there. Sometimes once I get started, I just can't stop myself. Sailing the honey badger with some emojis. Dr. Evils. All right, but this is a serious subject here. I make light of it. It's because it bothers me so much. So let's go ahead and get back to the evil bullshit.
Experts say this new shot could prevent a serious COVID surge in the coming months.
We have a vast amount of information about the safety of these vaccines and the fact that these vaccines really do provide protection against serious disease.
Pfizer's original vaccine was initially shown to be 95% effective at preventing infection, but over time the potency wore off. Boosters were necessary. Demand has dropped. Just over 108 million people have the first booster. Only 23 million have gotten the second. Even so, Pfizer says it has 30 million doses of this new booster ready to go out the door.
Stephanie, let me ask you this. Late last week, Moderna announced it's suing Pfizer for patent infringement for its COVID vaccine. How is the company responding?
Lester, Pfizer says it was surprised by this lawsuit, adding that the technology it based its vaccine on was developed by BioNTech, that's Pfizer's partner company in Germany. Was developed by BioNTech, that's Pfizer. Pfizer says it was surprised by this lawsuit, adding that the technology it based
Pfizer for patent infringement.
I forgot that they said that. That's right. You guys believe this? You believe this, you guys? Moderna is going to sue for Pfizer, right? So you got one VAXX company suing another. Sure, man. Sure. Hey, you stole our chemical concoction. That was our chemical concoction. We're going to sue you. Yeah, right. That's how they give each other attention, right? They give each other all this attention. You know, no attention is bad attention. Hell, just look at the pop star MGK, right? He's the one who made his career off nothing but negative attention. So you can make a career off negative attention. Negative attention is good attention. So they can be like, hey, look, this chemical concoction company is suing that chemical concoction company. And those are your only two choices if you want the chemical concoction. So you know what to do. Pick your favorite. Go team, right? What a show. Just keep coming up with chemical concoctions, man. Right? And just hope that no one steals your chemical concoction. Hey, we were the ones who were poisoning people with that first. And you stole it. Hilarious.
Infringement for its COVID vaccine. How is the company responding?
Lester, Pfizer says it was surprised by this lawsuit, adding that the technology it based its vaccine on was developed by BioNTech, that's Pfizer's partner company in Germany.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading.
No, thank you. God. So there you have it, folks. You saw it on TV, so therefore it must be true, right? Because we all know that television is not for entertainment purposes only. It's not for brainwashing. No. It's to make sure that you know lots of stuff and that you're well entertained, right? Yeah. It's so that you are really smart The TV wants to make sure you're well informed and really smart so that you make a good decision, you know, like at the upcoming election, right? You want to know what's really going on. So you tune into the news, get your facts, so that when you go to the polls and vote for your favorite politician, that you're well informed. That's what the news is for, right? According to my dad and millions, billions of sheeple, yes, that's what the news is. And you can't doubt it. See, the funny thing is like there's eventually going to be laws like where you're not allowed to even doubt the news. Not even in a comedic way, possibly. So I'm trying to keep the whole thing a comedy routine, right? To get around this, right? Because I think that one day they're going to be like, you're not allowed to deny that the climate is changing. You're not allowed to deny the effectiveness of chemical concoctions. You're not allowed to deny what the TV said. It's like essentially they're going to make denying what the TV said illegal. Diamond Sauce, the Smith-Mundt Act. Dr. E. Vales' family doctor is so cucked. Andy says, Jake, did your dad get jabbed? I haven't asked him, actually, because I know it'll just turn into a fight, and a part of me just doesn't even want to know. It's like my mom did, and that's bad enough. So I'm pretty sure my dad probably did. He probably took at least one. But I don't know for sure, and I haven't asked him about it. Me and my dad just argue all the time, so I just try not to talk about anything like that with him. Even with me trying, it's almost impossible. But I may just ask him the next time so I can find out for sure. But basically, it's looking like, yeah, my whole family and several friends from my, days before being on YouTube, like, have taken it, and maybe even a rooster or two. Saul coming in with a donation says, I'm getting pumped that my tribe's season opener magnet ball game is on 911. Go Patriots. So patriotic. Oh, that's funny. Funny you mentioned that, because I did a few videos about the NFL being rigged, and it was because the season was coming up and more people are talking about football again. And I like to cover all sorts of different facets of the truth. I like to cover different topics, and I'll usually do like 1-2 videos, maybe 3 videos, and then I'll move on and talk about something else. And so I did some NFL rig videos recently, and the algorithm at YouTube did not like those videos, so they didn't do that great here. But then it's funny because I posted them over on TikTok, and those same videos that didn't do good here on YouTube did way better on TikTok. So I had a video, for instance, get like 40,000 views on TikTok in like 2 days. And I'm like, holy shit, I have not seen that kind of traction over here. They have me shadow banned over here. You guys, they steal my subs. People have told me routinely that they've been unsubbed from my channel multiple times. They don't inform my subs that I'm going live or putting out a video. I have to do it all myself. I have to like put out my own notifications, basically. So that's one way they shadow ban you. And so it's an uphill battle trying to get the message out. But there was a hater who I'm actually going to expose here in a minute. We're going to do a little shill spotting here in a minute. There's a hater who came out and made a video against me because I made some NFL rigged videos. Apparently, there's a hater who thinks he owns the topic of NFL rigged. And he thinks, like, if someone like me talks about it, that I'm grifting. But it's okay when he talks about it. So we're going to go ahead and do a little shill spotting here in just a bit. But before we get into that, I really want to emphasize the importance of those last 2 videos. And so they're going to use climate change, and they're going to use your VAXX status, your jab status, to impact where and when you can travel, right? And we'll see them clamp down even harder on that. And I say it's always directly connected to the shape of the Earth not being a ball. And it is my opinion that the Earth is flat and it's a magical realm. And there are things going on in the sky that are basically magic, that are unexplainable, that they have explained away with bullshit and pseudoscience. And it is their ultimate evil goal to keep you from traveling around and figuring out what this place is. And so if they can get you to stay at home and never travel outside your house, then what are the chances you're ever going to figure out what this realm really is, right? So that's what I think it always ties back to, right? Where we all began. That's when I started this channel, Flat Earth Asshole. It comes back to the shape of the world, what this realm really is, whether it's flat or concave or a ball or a bigger ball or a computer simulation. It definitely isn't what they told us. We definitely know they've been lying to us the whole way. And so they use these things like climate change and global warming to reinforce their lies one step at a time. Somebody asking me to look up one of the moon shills. Yeah, Vibe of Cosmo is a shill moon channel that puts out disinformation in a false map and model that doesn't work. It's nothing but a cartoon graphic. It's bullshit. He takes liberties with some parts of the moon and puts water in the dark spots, and then in other light spots, sometimes he puts land. And so he just picks and chooses where he puts the land and the water. And he has a bunch of land masses like Atlantis and Lemuria that I'm pretty sure would have been discovered. And it's basically a cartoon fantasy world for you to dive down. And I've debunked it on this channel. But anyway, if you want to watch fantasy moon map shit and live in a fantasy world, you can go ahead. But if you run it through any sort of scrutiny, and I always tell people, like, look at the sun rise and sunset path, and look at the equinoxes and what happens with the sunrise and the sunset on the equinoxes, and then look at multiple places around the world where what they see on those same days, and then compare that to people's maps and models. Q and Fee has demonstrated that these people are frauds when they try and give you a circle sun over the flat Earth or a spinning ball in outer space. Basically, the celestial bodies in the sky don't triangulate to a certain point. Celestial navigation isn't even true. And guys like Q and Fee have demonstrated that to my satisfaction. And I've even brought them on the channel, and we debunked as a team different maps together. So I suggest you go back and watch my Flat Earth content. All right. Saul says, I like how the other football guy puts truth in his name, so you know he's trustworthy. Oh, no. He puts truth, Troo. We'll get to him. We'll get to Patty Truthner. We'll get to him. He wants attention from me. And I did give him a shout out last season for making NFL rigged content. But then he stabbed me in the back and told his audience that I was a con man. And then he took the side of Russian VIDS and name dropped Russian VIDS and said that I'm a con man and a liar. Because when I went to Monterey and I talked about chemtrails, and a plane flew over my head. And I was like, whoa, right when I was talking about chemtrails, a plane flew over my head. He said I saw the plane coming the whole time and that I'm a liar. And he based his entire rant against me and made a video against me over that one thing that he's wrong about. And I even called him and told him that he was wrong. But no, he still had to make a video and stab me in the back. So he's going to get his attention tonight. He made another video about me. And now we're going to do a little shill spotting here. Little shill spotting. Hey, thanks, Saul, for the donation. I appreciate that, buddy. Thanks for being here. James Richard says, to see the Earth as a spinning ball requires a two-dimensional screen, period. Yeah, nobody's ever seen the ball or the Earth as a ball in outer space, right? As they show you in the fake CGI NASA videos and whatnot. We've never seen the ball Earth from outer space with our own two eyes. It always comes down to something you saw on a screen and something that a space agency did. And the space agencies are connected to the government, and the government admits that the space agencies are also a facet of the military. So basically, NASA and all space agencies are the government / military. So if you have to rely on the government / military for your photos of the ball from outer space, you got a problem. Then, of course, people will bring up like, SpaceX isn't NASA. Yes, it is. It's the same thing. That's why they work together. Just type in NASA and SpaceX. They work together. All the space agencies, even the so-called private ones, they work hand in hand with NASA and the government. They're not going to allow anyone with a private organization to send a rocket to fake outer space and expose to people that it's bullshit or show something different than what NASA has been showing, all right? So your Elon Musks and your Blue Origins and Richard Bransons and all that is all connected back to the government. Same thing. Thanks for the donation, buddy. I appreciate that. All right, so gonna do a little shill spotting. Like I said, I gave a shout out last year to a channel that was doing some rigged NFL videos. And he was doing good work. And he was cool at first, but then he stabbed me in the back and made a video about me where he name-dropped Russian VIDS, who's a well-known shill, and I've documented that and proved that. And so we're going to go ahead and give this guy the attention that he wants, if that's really what he wants. He wants to poke it at the almighty asshole, then he's going to get shit on. So what's going to happen? All right, guys, so let's go ahead and take a look at this guy who just made a video about me today. All right, he's mad that I did an NFL rigged video. So let me go ahead and set the scene. This googly-eyed, pervert-looking, methed-out weirdo, right? He's mad. He's got sand in his vagina because I made some NFL rigged videos. So he thinks he owns the subject of rigged NFL. And if anyone else makes a rigged NFL video, he makes a video about that person and tries to bully them into stopping. And he's done this like to other people, not just me. He's done this to small channels that don't even have that many subs, don't even get that many views. I've seen 4 different guys make expose videos about this loser, because when they upload a video saying that the NFL's rigged or the NBA's rigged, this guy shows up and says, I was making NFL rigged videos first and you're copying me. So this ugly fucking loser right here, who I've done a little research on this guy, and he's former military. So we have former military, hack, failed comedian. He's only got views on NFL rig videos. He has no job, sits at home, and can't raise his family outside of his government check. So basically, he sits at home and gets a government check for being former military. And I think he lies and says he's mentally disabled so that he can get a free check from the government. And so he's basically one of those sit-at-home former military, I'm disabled guys who makes rigged NFL videos. And then anyone else who makes a rigged NFL video, he comes along and says, you're not allowed to make rigged NFL videos because I did it first. So let's go ahead and see what he has to say about me. And you guys know I like to talk about all sorts of different truth. I make videos about the NFL being rigged. I make videos about celebrities being replaced. I make videos about the shape of the earth not being a spinning ball. I make videos about NASA faking space, SpaceX faking space, Blue Origin faking space. All right. And the list goes on and on. I've exposed the boogeyman and the jab, mass bang bang, pow pows. The list goes on and on. I've been doing this for 6 years. I am a professional truther. If there is a such thing, I am that such thing. I am a real deal, non-sold out professional truther who does this for a living. And this man is jealous of me, and he's trying to take jabs at me with his irrelevant YouTube channel, all right? And when you take these pokes at a real truther, you just might get my attention and you just might find out maybe you should have kept your mouth shut, Patty. All right. So this guy calls himself Pat Truthner, and he's gonna tell you all about how I'm a grifter, you guys. A guy who only makes NFL rigged videos, has no truth whatsoever on his channel outside of rigged NFL videos. Gonna tell you all about me.
So along with the algorithm being broke last year, rigged NFL, the key phrase or tag word or whatever, also brought in the grifters. Okay, and a grifter is someone who hijacks something for their own personal gain. It's like the conservative movement. When everyone hated Trump, people went and became conservatives, and they blew up. So you saw that last year with a couple of people. They were doing other content before rigged NFL, and I'm not saying just me, but we'll use me for reference. I come out, my channel growth is pretty good, a lot of feedback in the comments. So you see some of these people who never did rigged NFL content start doing rigged NFL. One guy even said that he doubled his subs strictly off of doing rigged NFL content. So some people are all about it. Some people are legit. They really care. They really want to expose the NFL for what they are. But then there's other people who are just using the rigged NFL to grow their channel, to get views, to make that money if they can. So it's a grifter's paradise right now. If you search rigged NFL on YouTube, adjust your search filters from relevant to upload date, then you can go down and you can see who's grifting. We've got the internet's biggest grifter right now switching over from flat earth crap and fake simulation theory content to rigged NFL. Who knew? Who would have known that somebody who has no values would start doing rigged NFL?
So there you go. He just said that I went from doing flat earth crap to this new grift. I'm grifting. This is a new word that never used to exist, that losers like him started using. Losers across the internet started making up this new word called grifting. And so this guy, former military, who has no job and gets a free check from the fucking government, a loser, a failed hack comedian in every sense of the word, I promise you. Not a funny bone in this man's body. But the one thing he ever did was rigged NFL videos. That's the only thing he ever did that got views. And he's mad that I did some rigged NFL videos too, right? And he's going to throw a hissy fit, a temper tantrum on his channel like a little bitch. Guess what, Pat? I can talk about whatever I want on my channel. I'm allowed to expose all sorts of truth. Like tonight, I talked about Greenland fake melting and exposed that bullshit. And I also exposed the next chemical concoction. And I did it in a comedic way and made my audience laugh. Something you fail at doing every time. So this guy gets like 100 views, 200 views, an irrelevant loser. The only thing he's ever got views on is when the algorithm licks his balls and he gets an algorithm boost from a bunch of disgruntled NFL fans who show up to watch his NFL rigged videos. When the season ends, he's not funny and has nothing interesting to say, and all his views vaporize. So now we're going into the NFL season. He sees me making NFL rigged content, and he's acting like a little bitch and making a video calling me a grifter. And this is a guy who I made the mistake of giving a shout out to. So if anyone ever subbed to this guy because I gave him a shout out a year ago, well, now you see, I made a mistake, and I've told you. Every once in a while, I stick up for someone or support someone, and then 6 months later, a year later, maybe even a week later, they prove themselves to be a total piece of shit, or even a shill, or both. And so then I proceed to throw him under the bus where they belong. And that's where he belongs, under the bus. PJ CNET says exactly, he's a backstabber. You know, it wouldn't bother me if I didn't personally like give this guy a shout out. Like I bumped him up several hundred subs, giving him a shout out, saying, "Hey, this guy's breaking down the NFL. I don't have time to watch the games. This guy was breaking down the NFL. I gave him a shout out." And then he went and stabbed me in the back like a month or two later, saying that I saw a plane coming and I lied to my audience and said something about chemtrails because I'm a con man. You guys realize I am a shadow banned internet comedian who tells the truth? And I'm so shadow banned that people have told me multiple times they've been unsubbed from my channel 3 times, 4 times. They don't get notifications from my channel. The video's not showing up in their country. Pat doesn't know anything about this because he doesn't have an audience outside of when he milks the algorithm. So we have an algorithm milker who's complaining that I made some NFL rigged videos. Wants to call me a grifter. This is some shill behavior right here. This is shitbag behavior when former military who gets a free check for doing dick shit nothing and has zero truth on his channel makes a video about Jake the asshole with his spare time instead of breaking down the fake NFL games, which he claims he likes to do so much. So instead of doing the thing he likes to do, he's making a video about Jake the asshole breaking down NFL games. Hey, guess what? It's not a new grift. I break down all sorts of truth like I did in this stream, bitch. So why don't you suck my asshole, you loser? All right. So that's the end of that guy. PKOSB says apparently he's a shill too, nervous and unsure of himself. Yeah, he's always twitching around and like trying to be like comedic. It's like because he watched me and noticed that I'm funny and I have an audience, he like tried to be all like, "Hey, guys, Pat's Rumor here," and he tried to like steal like my energy, but he fails at it. He gets like 100 views on his terrible, unwatchable content. He only ever got views from disgruntled fans who want to look up the rigged game. And then he made videos about that rigged game so that the algorithm was pumping him straight to the top, right? Like they do with shills. I think I might even miss the super chat. Hold on, let me go back just in case I missed it. Oh, yeah, I got Salt says, "What a territorial biatch. Maybe he's not lying about mental illness." No, here's the thing: was he was like in money trouble, and he was openly like putting his Cash App up on stream, and he would be like, "Jake the asshole's lying for money. Here's my Cash App." So he's one of those guys that'll like try and expose someone else and then like gain their subs. And so I spotted a few traitors over there, like in his comment section, like, "Oh, you're gonna like bounce over there to an NFL rig guy who has zero truth content outside that subject, who's former fucking military, trying to shove his Cash App link down your throat." Like he would do a stream and just have his Cash App link up there like the entire time, like, "Give me money, give me money." And like 15 people would maybe watch his stream. And then he would do a rigged NFL video and the algorithm would stroke his balls and he would get this cocky, like insane, like delusional sense of like worth, like I'm someone special, I'm blowing up. It's like, dude, outside of rigged NFL like title and algorithm strokage, you got nothing, dude. I have hundreds of thousands of views on single videos on multiple different subjects, multiple times until they shadow banned the fuck out of me. You don't know nothing about that, Pat the Rat loser. Ugh. Like I said, I'm only irritated about it because I personally gave the dude a shout out and some of my subs went over there and then I had to like be like, "My bad, I screwed up, okay." I accidentally supported the wrong person. So that's why I'm more irritated about it than normal. Normally I wouldn't give such an irrelevant shitbag attention, but he's going to go into this NFL season doing rigged NFL videos, and he went as far as to mention me and say like I'm trying to grift or steal his content. There were people making rigged NFL videos long before Pat Truthner was around. There were people making rigged NFL videos 7, 8, 10 years ago, long before Pat ever came around last year. If you see these porn bots, get rid of them. I have this guy blocked, but somehow he like keeps showing up. That's so weird. I have the channel blocked, and somehow it gets inside here. That's the specific porn bots. I think YouTube is complicit in this bullshit. Hey, YouTube, get rid of your porn bots. Yeah, you have the ability with your algorithms, YouTube, to get rid of the porn bots. I'm not the one putting porn bots in here. I want to make it clear to anyone watching at YouTube or anyone monitoring me that I'm not putting the fucking porn bots in there. And I'm trying to get rid of them as quick as I can, right? And I have got rid of them and blocked them, but they still show up. How are they getting in here if I have them blocked? It's not a different account. It's the same blocked account. I swear. It says unblock on the message. How can it ask me if I want to unblock them if I already have them blocked? Why are they here? Oh, so angry. That's another thing. YouTube just letting these bots run wild, and then they can probably try and pin it on you, like, Jake allows these porn bots on his channel. No, I don't. You do, YouTube. Saul with a donation says he's creepy and has Ned Flanders stash. All he needs is the 80s glasses and he's a full-blown pedo. Exactly. That's what he looks like to me, right? I don't care what anybody says. That like mustache, like cheap knockoff Anthony Kiedis look, terrible looking. Thanks, Saul. I appreciate that, buddy. And then I missed a donation from, looks like Jonna. Yeah. Hi, Jonna. Says, Jake, you are a multifaceted entertainer. We love you. Thank you very much, Jonna, and thank you for being here. And as always, thank you for the generous donation. You are a sweetheart. Yeah, I don't like to give the shills a spotlight, but if you're going to like take a poke at me and like try and get views off my name, like, dude, I don't have anything to lose at this point, dude. I'm already like highly shadow banned. I think the only reason YouTube keeps me around is because my channel still generates money. That's the only reason they keep me around. And so what they do is they just keep my audience super tiny, keep it from growing, but they make sure that like if my channel's bringing in money to keep me around. And so I appreciate you guys being here after all this time. Those of you who stuck with me after all these years, you know, these shills, guys like Pat, he wouldn't know nothing about having an actual fan base because he's a talentless hack of a comedian. So he doesn't have any actual like fans of his work, right? He can only get like 100 views, right? 10 people in his live streams. And so when he milks the algorithm of the rigged NFL and then he gets thousands of views off that, he thinks that like he owns that topic and that he can somehow bully a real truther out of making whatever content I feel like making. If I feel like making a rigged NFL video, I will. And you don't want to piss me off, Pat, because I just might take the same plays that you do and then use my voice instead of yours. And basically, if you piss me off, I'll steal your content. I'll put my own music and my own thoughts, my own opinions to it and transform it, and you won't be able to do jack shit about it. So don't piss me off, Patty. Understand? All right. Every once in a while, I got to let the shills know how it is. I got to put them over my knee and spank them. Those of you who've watched for enough time know that I've taken some dirty, naughty shills and I've bent them over my knee and spanked them live right here for you. It's quite easy. It's quite easy when I'm the real guy who's been telling the truth for years and giving you my heart and soul. And some snake loser comes along and is like, Jake is a grifter. He talked about flat earth crap. You guys, he called flat earth crap. He said Jake's trying to go from flat earth crap to the rigged NFL. I just did a few videos. I talked about Alex Jones for a few videos. I talked about Lake Mead being drained for a few videos. I've talked about the fake trucker bullshit and the fake bang bang pow pows and the Georgia Guidestones and the fake Will Smith, Chris Rock bullshit. I talk about all of it. And he's like, he's trying to be a grifter and steal my NFL rig mini. You know what? If you piss me off, I might make a Pat Truthner account and steal your content, put my own voice over it, and you won't be able to do jack shit about it. Silent Walk says, I won't support a channel that talks shit about Jake. You shouldn't. Look at the people who make videos about me in a negative way. Simon Dan, Craig Fight the Flat Earth, right? Losers like this, Russian videos, fake truthers, they'll make videos about me, right? Faceless losers like Russian videos, right? I've exposed Russian video's face and his name. It's over on BitChute. I exposed it here on YouTube, and he's connected to the people at YouTube, so the videos got taken down. In any other truther who's exposed his name and his whereabouts, the video mysteriously comes down. But they're over on BitChute, so if you want to find out what Russian videos looks like and what his name is and where he lives, it's over on BitChute. So, yeah. Pat, you really want to mess with me, huh? You can go ahead and stroke that algorithm all you want, but one thing you'll never be is a talented entertainer like Jake. You'll always be a failed hack-ass loser. All right. Yeah, anyone talking shit about me, you know that they're no good. PJ CNET says, I don't like FTFE. Hey, PJ, I still see you over there with the Awake Soul dildos. You're still over there with those guys in their fantasy map, right? So I'm a little worried about you sometimes when I see you over there, but you seem like a nice enough guy. Eventually, I think you'll figure it out. Those guys are part of Team Evil. That's why they went on Jaren's Baby Truther show with Jaren and Dave and got made to look like fools when they presented their map. So I just want to warn you about those dudes. You seem like a good enough guy, so I want to make sure that you don't fall for their bullshit, because they try to paint me out like I'm a bad guy. Meanwhile, they were the ones who went over to Jaren's show and hung out with Small Hat Weiss. Joseph Allen says, I don't know who the guy is, never heard of him. Yeah, he is irrelevant. But last year, I gave the dude a shout out. He stabbed me in the back. So he's running his mouth once again. So this is just repercussions. And it's at the end of a stream. See, I did the stream with the bulk of the information I wanted to get out earlier. I talked about Greenland fake melting. So if you missed the beginning of the stream, we started with Greenland. And then we went on to the new VAXX concoction that they're pushing, right? And then we finished up with some shill spotting. So there you go. There you go. Little show for you today. Saul Rosenberg mixing the two together. Baby Truthner show. Good one. Good one, Saul. Corey LeBlanc says, Earth is concave. Bro, every time you come here and say that, I always tell you that you should like make videos and prove it, right? And I'll bring you on and you can make your case, because I'm always open to new ideas. I don't think it's concave. I think if it was concave, then you'd see the sun come down in the morning and go up at night. And just the idea that China is up, like you can like go up and make it to China, it just just doesn't jive with me. And you could walk up the walls. Now you have to have the opposite of gravity. You have to have compression, and you're walking up the walls. So this is like my problem with concave, is you're like, I'm going to walk up the wall. Yeah, I don't think you can dig to China either. I think that's baloney as well. That's a heap of balonga. Yeah, here's the thing. People go with the concave because they think that like that somehow, since it's the opposite of the globe, that that's what it has to be. It's the globe inside out. But the problem is then you still have concave curvature that you have to prove. And I've never really seen anyone prove that to my satisfaction, any concaver. And then you have to prove like why the sun doesn't come down in the morning and go up at night. You got to prove that model, and I just haven't seen anyone quite prove it to my satisfaction. What they usually do is they show like old pictures, like cartoon pictures of like a concave map, similar to like AE mappers. An AE mapper just shows you the UN logo with a sun going in a circle. A concaver just shows you the globe inside out. So then you're stuck with, like I said, like the opposite of gravity. You have compression, keeping you stuck to the walls. So now you're stuck to the side of a concave cell, standing upside down. And it just doesn't jive with my senses. It just doesn't. Yeah, you're saying there's no up or down, but it's universal compression. That's basically what I said, but like you're like a baller when you claim there's no upside down. Well, so every possible way is always right side up. Yeah, only when you orient yourself that way. You're always like, no, somebody's up this way and somebody's like this. So in your concave model, then you're going to have people walking up like this, right? One guy's standing like this, the other guy's standing like this at the bottom. Who's upside down and who's not, man? Well, there is no upside down. Well, aren't those opposite directions? If one guy's in your North Pole like this and one guy's in your South Pole like this, somebody's got to be fucking upside down in that scenario, bro. And so basically, what I don't like is it's the exact opposite of all the ball mechanics. And I think that's too easy for it to be everything exact opposite of the ball, basically. But to every his own. If that's what you think it is, that's fine, man. You're smart enough to not know it's not the spinning ball, so that's something. I think that the information that Q and Phi has demonstrated that the sun and the moon and the stars not being objects that you can triangulate to a single point, that you can basically, Q and Phi has proven on his channel, and I've even brought him on and shown that if you look at the data and you go out and point your compass at the different celestial bodies, let's say the sun, for instance, you can have different people in the world seeing the sun in different places that don't triangulate back to one sun. And so what does that mean? Are there multiple suns? No, it's looking like everyone might see their own sun. That's the only way to explain it. The sun is local to you and everyone sees their own local sun, which is hard to explain and get people to wrap their head around. But if you do your own investigation, you will come to find that, for instance, on the equinox, the sun rising everywhere for everyone, due east and setting due west, is impossible on the AE map, and it's impossible on all the flat maps. And the globers will say it's because the sun is gigantic and the earth is small and all the rays are coming in parallel. They have their excuse. But when it comes to equinoxes, it basically destroys all the different sun path models on all the different flat earth maps. So then you're stuck with the sun not being one object that goes around in a circle or rotates around inside of a concave ball, or rotating around a stationary ball. Misanthropic says, I don't understand how someone can throw out the globe but settle on concave. What proof made you realize the globe was fake? Because it all disproves any curve. What happens is they fall for the AE map, and then they get burned by guys like Dubé and David Weiss and Jeranism and all those frauds who put on the conferences and crap. They get burned by the shills. They figure out that the shills are wrong, and then they retreat to the opposite of the globe. That's what I've seen. It's usually ex-flat earthers. It's usually people who went from globe to AE map to then concave. I haven't really seen many go straight from globe to concave. Generally, they go to the AE map. They find out that circular sun over the UN logo fails badly. And you can prove this. It's just one of those things people just accept, and they get duped real easily because they hear Eric Dubé's voice, and they get hypnotized by these videos that they see on YouTube without actually doing any real research and running the AE map through the same scrutiny that they did the globe. If you run the flat Earth maps through the same scrutiny as you do the globe, you start finding problems with all of them. So, like I said, I can find problems with damn near every map and model that I look at. And the only other guy I find doing it is a guy like Q and Fee, and he's even taken it a step further by modeling it up and showing how the different models fail and explaining it in an even more scientific way than I can show you. Right. So I use my logic to break it down, whereas he'll actually show you the angles and the azimuths and show you what the websites say is happening and what's actually happening and so on. Oh, these damn porn bots just won't go away. A comment I just saw. Anyone ever told you that, Jake, you look like Ron Paul in his youth? Nope, that's the first time. I've heard young Robert De Niro. I've heard Christian Slater. I've heard soccer player Messi. I've heard Adam Levine. And then when I grew out my beard and my hair, Charlie Manson. But never young Ron Paul. So that is a new one I add to the list. Thank you, I guess. But no. Yeah, it's usually young Robert De Niro. Oh, also, I want to take this time to promote that I am on TikTok. Now, I know TikTok sucks. I don't watch any of the cringe on there. All I'm going to do is post video clips from this channel over there. And so basically, if you already watch this channel, it's not going to be much different. I'm just going to take clips from my videos and post them over on TikTok. And so far, I tested out a few of my rigged NFL videos, and they did really well. So I am on TikTok as Jake the Asshole Official. And I'm not trying to promote the app. The app sucks ass. So if you want to see what I'm doing on TikTok, if you just want to follow me and any content that I might make over there, I'll leave the link in the description after the stream ends, and I'll post it in chat right now. So I don't recommend you watch any of the cringe videos on there. But if you want to watch me, I'm going to be posting the truth and taking clips from these streams and other videos and trying to wake up some of the sheep. It's already been good. I started getting new followers over there, new people coming in, checking out the rigged NFL videos. So there's my link in the chat. I just posted it in the chat. Jake the Asshole Official. And I know, you guys, you don't have to tell me. I know TikTok sucks ass. It's a government site. The government's watching all the time on all the sites, right? If you're watching me right now, they're watching you. You're on a list. If you watch me, they watch you. You're already being watched. So let's not act like if you avoid TikTok that nobody has ever seen you or heard of you and that you're in the shadows. If you're online and using a device, you're being watched. And even if you're not online and not using a device, you're still being watched, whether you know it or not. So yes, I'm trying to pick up some traction because, again, they shadow ban me here. So for instance, an NFL video that I posted here gets 3,000 views. It got 40,000 views on TikTok. So of course, I'm going to try and pick up some new subscribers and some new supporters if I can, because like I said, they have shadow banned the shit out of the channel. And it's not all about views, but when it comes down to your content and your views being cut down, well, what happens if they cut me down to 10 people or 0 people? Do the views matter then? If you went from 1 million views to having 0, at what point is it about the views? At what point do you get to be like, hey, all my fucking views are gone? So, yeah, I'm going to complain about the fact that they have stolen my views and siphoned my audience off. And they, even in the comments, they go as far as to hide your comments. So if you talk to me in the comments, they'll show your first comment and then they'll hide all the rest of your replies. And on my end, when I click the replies to see what you have to say to me, I can't see them. So they hide your replies from me. This site, which allows porn bots to infiltrate my chat, who I've blocked, hides your comments from me because they don't want you and me to be pals and talk and have a conversation in the fucking comment section. So they hide your comments. So if your comments don't show up, or if it seems like I'm not replying to you, they hide them. They'll show your first comment and then my reply. It'll say 6 replies. I'll click it and it'll just show my reply and 5 missing comments. Happens over and over on every video. Just another thing I'm frustrated about. Mr. Funny Names with a generous donation says Globe Earthers has the distance between 2 points. So do we. I don't believe in Earth at all. All I care about is why we are here, and that is only I care. Camel bum is nice. I don't know about the camel bum part, but I pretty much agree with you. Yeah, so the on the globe, for instance, they'll claim that you can use celestial navigation and you can look at a star and then use that to determine your location and travel using that information. And what QNFE has demonstrated in his video is that you can see the same star in multiple different places at the same time. And the angles at which each of these locations see the star don't triangulate back to the same single point. So somehow, some way, you can see multiple suns at the same time in different locations. You can see multiple stars at the same time in different locations. And the locations, like I said, the angles at which you see them don't triangulate, which basically means we live in a magical realm of sorts, which cannot be explained by the pseudoscience that they've been lying to us with. And definitely is not explained by the pseudoscientists they have parading as the smart guys of today, right? They have your resident smart guys, the scientists. They're the resident smart guys. You got to listen to them because they went to school and they do their experiments. They mixed chemicals together in a lab. They used a microscope. They looked at some stuff. They used a computer. It showed them some data. They extrapolated from the data so they can tell you that Greenland's melting, for instance, right? Meanwhile, if you're a guy like me who doubts that Greenland's melting and you question the evidence, people, let's say, who believe in the science, they're going to give me shit like, you're not an expert on climate change. You didn't go to school and learn about that. Like, you weren't a part of the study. Cat I am healing artist and spellbreaker says my subs count keeps going backwards and I only have 600. Yeah, they're trying to phase out small channels and independent channels, right? So not just people who go against their narrative. They really don't like small channels and independent channels growing. What they really want is their mainstream news being watched. So they force the mainstream news down your throat. You ever had like a video end and then they automatically just shove a CNN video down your throat or a mainstream news video? And you look and it's got like 500,000 views. It's like, how many people are watching mainstream news on YouTube? No, it's because they're forcing those numbers. So that's how they can manipulate the numbers. So when you finish watching one of my videos, for instance, they can automatically like have a mainstream video come up pushing some excuse me, bullshit, and then they can pad their view counts like that. Meanwhile, they can promote all those videos so that they're watched all the time, so that more people are inclined to like and subscribe. And then, like I said, with my channel, they just don't notify the subs. So if they don't notify the subs and they remove my subs, right, they down throttle my views, they can easily keep my channel from ever growing. Meanwhile, they can still tax my channel from all the revenue that comes in. They can still take a little piece of my pie. So they'll allow me to do my little thing over here, but they won't allow the channel to grow. And the channel used to grow. So that's one of the things that really disgruntles me about this platform. And the other platforms just aren't as good. But now that I'm trying my content out on TikTok and getting at least some traction over there, I will admit that it was a nice shot of dopamine to see one of my videos not be shadow banned for once and be like, oh shit, I remember when my videos used to get views. Holy fuck. So I was like one of those teen girls getting that shot of dopamine, like, my conspiracy videos are getting views. Yay! Like I said, it ain't all about the views, but if they take them all away, then suddenly you're going to get pissed off and be mad that the views are gone. So at some point, it does have to be about the views, and you do have to try and grow, because if you ain't growing, then your channel's dying. And if they are actively trying to kill your channel and suppress your content, well, then it's a never-ending uphill battle, and it makes the content creator, in this case me, less motivated to create content. But nonetheless, I know all this is going on, and I put one foot in front of the other, and I keep trying to put out all sorts of different good content for you guys, whether it be Rigged NFL or Alex Jones being a shill, or Alex Stein being a shill, or this flat earth faker being a shill, or whatever, like, or Dave Chappelle being replaced by an imposter, or the chemical concoctions coming at you, the fake bang bangs and pow pows, all that stuff, right? I cover it all because I feel it's my duty, and I get a satisfaction out of pleasing that booty. No, I had to make it rhyme. I get a satisfaction out of out of breaking it down, and so it does make me feel good when I see people in the comment section who not only agree with me, those who didn't think of that happening, and then me bringing it to their attention, increasing their knowledge that this evilness is going on out there. It makes me feel good, basically, to wake people up. It's what it always gets back to. It makes me feel good to do the right thing, and I feel like on this channel, I put out content which I feel is the right thing to do and expose, and I have all sorts of different subjects in my head floating around, so I try and make all sorts of different content. And so I'm not going to stop, even if there are losers out there who think they own one of these things that I talk about. Javid with a donation says, hey, Jake the Arsehole, did you see Dubé recent video on Ushuaia? Sounds like he's responding to you. Yeah, Dubé does nothing but come up with excuses for his circle map failures. So he just like tries to brainwash people with his rhetoric and his slow hypnotic speech. One of the reasons why people think that the circle sun path doesn't work, which is actually due to perspective. Yeah, see, Dubé is definitely a showbag who pushes the vegan agenda, pushes the UN map and the impossible circle sun. I've proven to you guys over and over again that the circle sun path doesn't work. Q and Fees also debunked it. Furthermore, I can do some future videos on it. Now that you're telling me about this, I haven't been over to his channel lately. I have to kind of like put him on the back burner for a bunch of months and haven't really thought about him much. But I'll head over there and take a look and see what he says. And maybe me and Q and Fee might team up and show you guys how he's wrong. He's still using the same UN logo and circle sun. Here's the deal on the equinoxes. How are you going to have one circling sun on the equator rise from 90 degrees east and set to the west? Exactly perfect everywhere in the world on the same day. Multiple locations at the exact same time. How are you going to do that with one sun on the equator? It's not possible. So me and Q and Fee, we showed that in a stream we did together. And so I guess I'm going to have to break that one out again. The shills never stop. They never stop. They keep lying. Even when you debunk them, they just go back, keep telling more lies. It's what they do. They can't admit they were wrong. So I know a lot of people still follow Dubé, and they were hypnotized by his bullshit. And he was one of the OG flat earthers, but he was one of the OG shill flat earthers who pushed the NWO UN logo. And even when it was proven wrong over and over and over again, he stuck to it. Not only that, he pushed the vegan agenda over and over and over again. Not only that, he dressed up and imitated me and called me a shill. So therefore, you know he's got to be a shill. Case dismissed. Rose Bellman with a donation says, I stopped in Modesto and bought raw milk. Tastes like Nilla cookies. Do you give Rusty milk? Oh, you stopped by the place that I go, the farm that I go to? Awesome. That's really awesome. Yeah, I'm addicted to that flavor, and I actually tonight was going to wrap up the stream and head back into town and try and pick up some gallons because I'm out right now. So I just ran out yesterday, and I am addicted to the raw milk, and I can't drink the pasteurized store-bought crap. And so I'm already like going through my raw milk withdrawals, man. So I need to head over to the farm and pick some up. I give it to Rusty sometimes. It's really expensive, and so I mostly keep it for me, but I put it in his bowl sometimes. I give him a little bit. But it's expensive. It's, you know, at the farm, I have to drive all the way out there to get it. It's $6 a gallon. And if I buy it anywhere else, then it's like $15 a gallon, you know? So they make it expensive for a reason. Let's try to price it out of the common man's range. Make you choose the store-bought pasteurized crap. Javid says, hey guys, is anybody in the chat currently in Kiev, Ukraine? Not I. Not I, but thank you for the donation. I'll leave it up on the screen for a minute so that maybe people will respond to you. Oh. Automatic transmission says I've killed animals before and it's not cool. Yeah, that can be a tough thing for people to get over, but humans are carnivores, and a lot of the fruits and vegetables that are in the grocery store are like Frankenstein plants. They don't actually exist out in nature for the most part. So you might be able to find some wild berries out in nature, but you're not going to find like, you know, bushels of kale and eggplant and bell pepper and lettuce and all this stuff just growing out in the wild. So these are Frankenstein plants that are unnatural, and certain plants have even been proven over and over again to just be toxic and not good for you at all. And so, for instance, like broccoli, I've seen people who try and eat nothing but broccoli for like a week, and within a few days they start to feel like shit, and their health starts to deteriorate, and they start to feel like they're going to pass out. And the exact opposite pretty much happens. If you just try and eat like meat for a week, you're not going to have that same thing happen to you. You're actually going to be satiated and feel okay. So it comes down to what's good for you, and it is tough for some people to kill animals because they like animals, and I do understand that. So getting over the killing of the animal can be tough for people, but our ancestors who ate a natural diet, they didn't go to the grocery store and buy Frankenstein plants. They killed animals and ate them. All right. Rose Billman says, "Do you feel healthier since you've been drinking raw milk?" I like it. It makes me feel good. I can't say for sure that it's like done the significant difference to me that like I feel better specifically or healthier specifically. I just really like the way it tastes, and it's just more refreshing to me than any other drink. It's basically like become my favorite drink, and I don't know. I look at other people who are my age and see the health that they're in, and I don't look to be doing too bad. But I can't say that like um, I feel like complete shit if I don't drink milk. Like I haven't had any at all today, and I feel fine. But I have the want and desire to drink it. Like if I was to drink orange juice or water or something else, I'd be fine. I'm not gonna like feel unhealthy or any worse today. But it's in the back of my head that since I don't have it, that I want it. So it's interesting how like the cravings start to kick in for milk more so than any other drink at the moment. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get off there. I'm gonna make sure that I count all of the donations so I don't miss anything. Rose, Javid. Thanks, Jake. You're welcome, Javid. Thank you for being here, buddy. If anyone missed any of the stream, go back and watch. We started with Greenland melting, then we made our way to the new Jabiru for the new Boogeyman variant. I tied that into restriction of your travel and gave my thoughts on that. And then did some shill spotting, called out a loser shill, and wrapped up with some raw milk. All right. So I want to thank you guys for all being here today and joining me, all the donations that came in, and then all the chats that I missed. I'll go back and watch them on the replay. So if I didn't read your chat out loud or I didn't post it, don't you fret, don't you frown. I am definitely going to go back and rewatch the stream, watch the chat replay, and I read every single replay to see who is saying what and who was here. Because often when I'm live, I have to like keep talking and getting to the next clip and keep the stream going. So I can only dedicate so much time to like reading comments. So often I miss tons and tons and tons of comments, but I definitely go back and read all of them every single time. So until next time, this is your favorite asshole, Jake the Asshole, signing out. All right, you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you next time. Thanks for being here. Peace.